All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome into Wagers on Campus, your home for weekly college football. And we are dropping shows every Wednesday and Friday. But every single week, we talk college football. We talk bets. We talk the games. We talk playoff landscape. We talk whatever it is that we need to talk about in this great sport. Appreciate you guys checking us out. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. And if you could share, that would be greatly appreciated. But this week, we're going to be talking CFP bracket predictions. We're going to cover Army versus Navy and a surprising bowl game popping up. And we're going to look back at a couple of other things as well. But appreciate you all. I'm Mayor, and I am here with Xander.
Hello.
Breaking news, Xander.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Michigan coach, former coach, Sharon Moore has been fired.
With cause.
So they say, right?
They straight up said it. It's because I hate him. Little
Dude.
office nod there.
And I usually pick up on the office stuff, but I feel like that's a sad day if you're an Ohio State fan and a rival of Michigan, because not trying to blatantly be disrespectful towards the man, but I honestly was surprised he lasted as long as he did at the university.
Yeah, I agree. Part of the biggest black eye in college football sports, college football history when it comes to the game itself. And suspended multiple times. Guy was no good. And it just shows because rumors are not looking good. And this is all allegedly, this is all rumor mill.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to preface that. The guy allegedly cheated on his wife he has 3 kids with Christmas coming up with a staffer. And even further rumors, that staffer may or may not be with child. So pretty salacious and disgusting rumors, but to be fired with cause, it's not going to be amicable and it's not going to be all hunky dory. So for those wondering what the rumor mill is, we'll go ahead and spill that, and I'll edit it out later if I get dinged for that. But that's all alleged, not coming from me.
Right. Any initial thoughts on who's going to be the new coach?
Wow, they missed the carousel, didn't they? A top 68 Power 4 job just opened up, that's for sure. So,
yeah,
at least top 68.
Saban?
Yeah. Biff Poggi takes over as interim coach, announced by the university. And I tell you what, it would be a real shame if they went out and got Brian Kelly. I would hate to see Brian Kelly on the sideline if I'm an Ohio State fan.
Sure.
I would hate to see that.
Yeah, he's a good coach.
Yeah, I mean, how can there even be any credible names? There aren't, because this all just happened. I mean, I'm sure there's been some behind the scenes going on at the university, so they probably have been making some calls. Obviously checking all their boxes, making sure that these claims were substantiated from a legal perspective. And I've heard possibly going to Jesse Minter. I truly don't see that even being possible. There'd probably be some show cause for him coming back. He's in line for NFL head coaching jobs. I just don't see him even attempting to open up that Pandora's box. Brian Kelly's obviously out there. Lane Kiffin, obviously a name. Anytime a coaching job opens up, you gotta think of Lane.
Yeah.
And then a big name that everyone will be talking about is Kalen DeBoer, especially after they lose 4th loss coming up here, whether it's to Oklahoma or Indiana. And him getting back in the Big Ten might be more his speed. I don't think he's cut out for the SEC. So those are a couple names I've heard so far. But they also might just ride with Biff Poggi for a year to truly let it go, because he was liked by the fans in that
Yeah.
2-game absence earlier this year.
He's cool as fuck, honestly.
Yeah. Yep. He's had some Michigan ties, so they might just let him ride for a year.
I heard a crazy rumor. Well, I wouldn't call it a rumor, but a theory. Ed Policy, the new Packers president, basically did not give LaFleur, their head coach, or Gutekunst, their GM, extensions going into 2025, and their contracts end in 2026. And he basically said, you all need to prove it. I'm not extending you guys yet, because this was his first year as the president of the Packers. So Packers are having a good year right now. LaFleur grew up 2 hours away from University of Michigan. He's due for an extension, dude. I don't think he's coming back to the Packers without getting that extension. How much do you think like Michigan would like possibly offer LaFleur? Like the college money is getting so insane. I heard, $15 million a year.
I just think the way the landscapes are now, we could talk about it. Utah set to accept private equity money, first team to dip their toes in, is just disgusting. The landscape of college football is unregulated. It's Wild West.
Yep.
And LaFleur's cut his teeth in everything NFL. So I just think that jump back is not really where NFL coaches want to be. And I think you've seen it with Belichick this year. The failed NFL coaches seem to succeed. Saban, Urban.
Yeah.
They do pretty well. But
Chip Kelly.
yeah, I mean, there's only been Pete Carroll comes to mind
Mm-hmm.
as the guy that was like NFL really successful in college, and then he found his way back to the NFL. I think that has to say something for a guy that obviously coming back to coaching now at close to 80, he's probably going to coach till he dies. Just says a little bit about the two positions: head coach NFL, head coach college.
Yeah. It's really hard to believe Lane Kiffin was a head coach in the NFL. That's crazy.
Oh, that's so great. That's why the Raiders will always be there needs to be if we talk about cloning, like Brady cloning his dog, there needs to be the first human clone should be Mark Davis. Like the Davis clan cannot get out of owning an NFL team.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Did you see Quentin Jammer?
Yeah.
Is in admission?
Yeah, I sent that to the group.
Played multiple games in 2011, just being wasted off his ass for the Chargers.
Yeah, quote unquote, I played 11 games shit-faced drunk in 2011 on the field. Was drinking the entire game.
God damn, bro.
It's that fucking rec league. Pull up. For flag football our freshman year, I used to take 2 shots of tequila before every game because my ankle was about the size of a grapefruit.
Dude, how do you even keep that from your teammates or your coaches? Like you feel like you would get caught. You feel like you would get caught.
Hey, if you stay acting a fool, you never get called out for acting a fool.
True. All right. Well, that all sounds good. You want to recap last week real quick?
Yeah. Yep. I cursed myself. So shout out to me.
What happened?
I tweeted out, is there any hotter better than me?
Oh, God.
4-1 before the Ohio State Indiana game. The past week I went what was it, 14-6? So at the time of the tweet I was 22-7.
Okay.
And and then just Ohio State. plays their worst game of the entire season. So I ended up going 3-3. Just a minuscule, almost broke even, minus 0.3 units. Best bets were 2-1. Other two were very comfortable, and the Ohio State was the one loss. And the best bet regular season at 30-21, up a shit ton of units. And then Mayer, 3-3, but he hit his best bet, his lone best bet. Georgia, under. He was spot on. He pleased it down too, and it still went under. So he was up almost a unit, and then brings his best bet season total to 7-8. But we've got breaking news. We got great news. The teaser hit, folks. The Hail Mary teaser. There was only 8 games on the slate, 10 games on the slate. The teaser hits.
Yes.
And the boys finish up on the season. Plus 2 units. We went 3-12 in the teaser. That's all you need. We said it from the start. You only need to hit 3. And we did it.
That's great.
Yeah, luckily that number for Ohio State pushed. So it was 5 legs. It only hit for plus 450.
Okay.
But yeah, 5-0-1. Still cashes. Yeah, and everything pretty easy on there, to be honest.
Yep.
Misspelled Troy there. Obviously there's going to be a misspelling.
Yep.
But yeah. So shout out to the teaser boys. And then once again, dude, the pleaser, if they showed up and played ball, it's very alive because Western Michigan covers. They were covering all game. Bama under, Georgia under. It was huge. Although got a little. You were wondering if Georgia was going to ramp it up to see if they could really put their foot on the throat for the pleaser. The best bet was never in jeopardy.
Yeah.
So that hit.
I mean, we've been damn close on this thing many times this year. It's a shame that we're 0-5 and down 5 units on the pleaser because obviously all of these picks are hard because we're, it's the opposite of a teaser. So it's all plus money here on each individual pick. But dude, we have had, I feel like, several weeks where we go 2 for 3 or 2 for 4 or even 3 for 4, I think. So
yeah, it's pretty funny. We either have 1 loss or we only have 1 win. Like all looking back at all of them. But yeah. I've got some numbers for you. This is for us to keep in mind. We're going to put this in for next season, and we're going to bet them all. First of all, we're betting them all individually because our picks, we had 23 total pleaser picks, 11-12.
Ooh.
11-12, and I did the numbers. That's plus 8.9 units, betting them all individually, 1 game below 500.
Love that.
So, yeah, I mean, for us not betting that and then just throwing it together as a pleaser, being the only parlay, but betting all the legs individually, big miss.
Yep. Adjust and move on.
Yep. What were your overall thoughts on the conference championship weekend?
I mean, I was a little surprised with Ohio State losing to Indiana straight up, especially in the fashion that the game went down, just such like a low scoring type of game. Bama, shit. I'm concerned about them, have been. They just got completely dominated by Georgia in that game, honestly, just like blown off the line of scrimmage. Georgia just kicked their ass, and I still don't even think Georgia is all that good. Like super good. I think they're good, but I don't think they're like a dominant team. North Texas, Tulane, thought that was an interesting watch. North Texas, man, football can be such a funny sport because sometimes like early in a game, you only have like 1 or 2 opportunities to capitalize on some big plays. And if you don't, a game can get turned sideways real quick. And that's exactly what happened in that game. The running back fumbled and then he got hurt. This is for North Texas. And Tulane, to me, looks like a pretty solid ball club. And I'm kind of wondering why why they're catching 17 and a half against Ole Miss in the playoff game. Just a little bit of the look ahead. And Duke beats Virginia. That was what I was expecting. Pretty good game, despite Duke not really deserving to be there. Pretty good game. So all in all, I got to say I enjoyed it. And Kennesaw State, I'm sure you watched some of that game. That was a hell of an entertaining finish against the Cox.
Yeah, complete snoozer for the beginning. I mean, as someone that, when I got your card, I was like, damn, we're pretty much head to head in a lot of these. So I was on Jacksonville State money line. Yeah. They had 0 points, and then they kept turning it over in the red zone. They had 0 points in the fourth quarter, and they scored twice, take the lead. And I actually cashed out. I had 2 bets on them. I cashed out one of them. Just on one of those feelings of like, this is not going to, they left too much time on the clock. They're not going to steal this game with that much time on the clock. Kennesaw just feels like the team of destiny. And they did.
Yep. Yeah, but those are kind of my quick hitter recap thoughts. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit on Monday, more about everything else that was happening. But as for Ohio State, I got to put my hand up. I was pretty drunk for that game. And it was an accidental drunk. I did not mean to get so shit-faced, but hosted a little party over. We have the good meat from the farm, that quality shit. So I made up. I went to the store, got a Costco thing of Doritos.
Wait, hold on. What the fuck are you talking about? Good meat from the farm?
Like, our family has a farm that has meat.
Got it. Apologies.
None of that like fucking injection shit, like pure red. This is real meat.
Hey, that's on me. Continue.
Yep. And so I made a walking taco station with carnitas and beef. So people came over.
Hell
had
yeah.
Had some appetizers. But let me tell you something, Mayor. I was pouring my own drinks here. Had some transfusions flowing.
Yep.
Had the whiskey, couple fingers poured.
Whoa.
Yeah. If you don't know what that is, that's a measurement of a drink neat. I'll take 2 fingers, 3 fingers. Don't need a blast from the past from your college days, bud.
I learned that from Aaron Rodgers, the whole finger thing.
Nice. Whoa. What? Excuse me?
Yeah, sometimes things just slip in or out. I mean,
this guy going crazy. Anyway, yeah. So
you were mixing the vodka and the whiskey.
Yeah, and people came over for SEC championship. So we've got 4 hours before, and we're just chatting it up, having a good time.
Yep.
Next thing you know, a little browned out at halftime.
Yeah.
Come to, and the confetti's falling for Indiana. So yeah, I didn't bring my A game as a fan, but watching most of the game back. I don't want to make any excuses for the team that is the most talented team in the country by far. But the Heartline business, that news breaking on Tuesday, he even said this past week, he's like, yeah, definitely some distractions hit the team this week. Maybe we weren't as prepared as we could have been. And, that's putting a little onus on himself, because he will stick around and call plays. Same with Oregon, though. Oregon's defense and offensive coordinator are sticking around to call plays. So I think with the transfer window moving, him getting able to get all his staff down there to handle day to day, I mean, most of that recruiting's already done. Anyone that's going to come with Heartline can make that change. And really that's about it. So I think they're going to be able to get, having that extra bye week, they're going to be able to get locked in for either Texas A&M or Miami. I don't feel, uh, from what I saw, if your worst game of the season is against the number 2 team in the country and you have a 27-yard field goal to tie it up late in the fourth, I'd say that's a good worst game. And I think there's areas of improvement to make sure that doesn't happen again for a repeat championship.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my question to you is, you being a big Ohio State fan and knowing the team very well, is from an outsider perspective, I'm not concerned about their defense at all. And I wouldn't even say that I'm concerned about their offense, because Sayan has had a very good year, and Smith and Tate on the outside are really good receivers, like really, really good receivers. But if anything is going to hold them back in the playoffs, I think, as we saw in the Big Ten championship game, it will be because of their offense. What's your concern level, them going up against like a good defense that maybe they only score, 17 points or something like that?
Yeah, not to get too deep into the weeds, to hide some things for when we break down the games, but I think it's a blessing in disguise, that loss, on the draw of the bracket. Obviously Miami has an athletic defense, but they have some holes that those wide receivers will be able to eat that secondary alive, and same goes for Texas A&M. So I think they're, Indiana, Texas Tech, and Oklahoma all being up top and not having to see them until a potential national championship would be the 3 teams I'd worry about, and they all have to beat each other up. So I think we saw some areas of opportunity in that last game. Got to trust the run a little bit more. We preach on it a lot. These college teams and the QB sneak is so mind-boggling. I just truly don't understand it. It's a day one Pop Warner football type play, just a scrum up the middle, and they just can't execute. It's insane. But I'm not too worried about it. Seeing that Michigan game, great defensive front. Bo Jackson, I thought, was still getting some decent pops against Indiana as well. So I just think they have to stop getting cute with plays and kind of turn it up a little bit like they did last year in the playoffs, and maybe kind of a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's our so that's all the gambling from conference championship week. Yeah, we might as well talk about it. And then since we have only a few games to cover this week, but the Notre Dame fallout. This was yeah, I talked about it a lot. Yeah, I had some staunch points I wanted to discuss on Monday to get it out. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. As had a couple more days to simmer of the entire just ecosphere of what happened the last few days with Notre Dame.
Well, I think it was handled in a way that I guess was surprising to me from like a reputational standpoint from a school like Notre Dame. That's just me. I thought they would have handled it with more class, and they didn't. Obviously, they're very upset. But I think when you really take a realistic view at it, they lost 2 games to start the year, and that's on them at the end of the day. If they didn't want to be in that spot, they should have not lost 2 games. They had Texas A&M on like a fourth and goal from like the 10-yard line to ice that game. And as far as like the rest of their schedule goes, I do sympathize a little bit with like Notre Dame backers from the standpoint of hey, the ACC was dog shit this year, but they couldn't really predict that. And, games like at Pittsburgh, for example, that was still like a tricky game. They beat USC. They played Boise State. Like, I wouldn't say they had like the easiest schedule of all time. I mean, Florida State and Clemson couldn't win in the ACC. So it's like, I definitely feel like Notre Dame, when you looked at them with the eye test, I see a really talented team. I see a team that could be competitive in the playoffs. And from that standpoint, I do wish that they were in because I do think that they're legitimately good. But at the end of the day, the rules are the rules. And they lost 2 games. And I feel like they were sore losers about the whole thing. And they could have handled it, like I said, in a much classier way. But they chose to handle it the way that they did. So it's kind of my quick summary there.
Yeah, about the ACC though, got to remember before they changed it last year. I mean, fucking the ACC was the 11 and 12 seeds in last year's playoff. So like they been ass, bro. They been ass.
Yeah, sure.
Like Boise was ranked ahead of both those teams last year. Like they wouldn't have been the 11 or 12 seed even if it was the ruling that it is today. Like Boise would have been ahead of SMU and Clemson. I think they would have been a 8 seed
Yep.
or 7 seed if I remember correctly.
Right.
So yeah, you can miss me with that. And so them rushing to the door to try and evacuate their ACC deal, which already is weird enough that them being a private university, there's like only guesstimations of when their deal expires. What it would have to be, they're going to have to litigate to get out of the ACC, and they're going to have or pay a massive buyout fee, which they're not going to look to do. And it's like, how can you get your panties in a bunch about the ACC promoting Miami playing that game 48 hours straight and say they've done irreparable damage? You're not in the conference. Like, what do you mean?
Yep.
Because you're in the conference for women's water polo? Like, you expect their football conference to bend over backwards for you?
Right.
Like, this whole wanting your cake and eating it too is such bullshit.
Totally agree.
It's yeah, and like win a championship in the last 40 years. I dare you. Like, what the fuck are we
Facts.
doing? Reagan was in office the last time they won a national championship. And that was when they were claiming them. Like, there wasn't even a national championship game the last time they won a national championship.
That's crazy. I hear you. I mean, if they were in the Big Ten or if they were in the SEC, we wouldn't be having this conversation, right?
Yeah, and they'd be interesting. Listen, I want to see all these conferences shut them out. I want to see them force them to play like only group of 5 teams. Like if they're going to have this temper tantrum, why it's going to be like, unless you join our conference, we're not going to give you these scheduled games every year.
Yeah. Especially after their outburst, for sure.
Yeah, and next year, we'll see the finalized, but apparently they're going to get a top 12. If they're in the top 12, they get a automatic bid. Uh, thinking more about that, it just doesn't phase me because as long as there's a committee, like they'll just be more timid on moving them up and down. Like they'll keep them at 13 if they see them like in a head-to-head battle with Miami again or someone else.
Yeah.
Like that top 12 thing isn't going to make them like steal any bids.
And if we're just being like completely honest, Miami and Texas A&M are obviously 2 good teams, but they're not great teams. And Notre Dame still lost to both of them, and one of them was at home and a night game in South Bend. So
True. Yeah, and yeah, I know I'm getting, they're tied for 3rd in futures to win the national championship in Vegas. It's like, yeah, they were also predicted to be in. Like Miami 1 week ago was 80-1 because they weren't expected to be in. doesn't
Right.
mean that they're 80-1 to like now they're already down to 22-1. So it's like I just don't want to hear that. And the final point that I think of is like Reese Davis has been talking about this a lot. It's like we just want a defined path. It's like there is one. There's 5 automatic bids and 7 at large. So the entire conversation is about the 8th, 9th, and 10th best at large teams being left out.
Right.
What are we doing? Like, this is a national championship, not a fucking beauty pageant. Why are we talking about 8, 9, and 10? When everyone is saying, well, the only teams that can win it are Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, and Texas Tech. Like, this would have been a perfect year for 4 seed, and we're blowing up the entire media outlet about fucking Notre Dame sitting there at number 11 or 10 or whatever they're at.
Yep.
Make it make sense, Alex.
They should expand it to 16. I like your idea.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, this year works well, and then next year there'll be like just 8 dog shit teams. There'll be 4.
Cut out there for a second.
Oh, I just said, and like this year works perfectly because the only teams being outside that have a gripe would be like Utah and James Madison. But like
yeah.
next year, but yeah, we go to 16, and then there's going to be one year where there's like 5 teams with 3 losses.
For
And we're
sure.
just like, why the fuck are we wasting games on these dog shit teams?
I just think I'd like to see Notre Dame and BYU and Vanderbilt and hell, even fucking Texas, like in the playoff this year. I that's just personal preference.
Yeah, for sure. But that's why I really like this analogy is like if you can remember, if you were a fan of a good team in the BCS era, like losing one game was
Yeah.
like heartache.
Yeah.
It's like fuck, we're probably out on national championship. Like now we have all these teams like vying and like making up campaigns for 2 losses, and Texas at 3 losses. Like, well, if we didn't play Ohio State in the first round, we'd be 10-2. And like, dude, losses need to hurt. You can't lose to Florida and start making up. I just want losses to hurt more. That's why I love my 16 team bracket, but I also like kind of walking it back a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
And then what do you think about Freeman minus 200 to go to the New York Giants?
I didn't see that. Makes me just wonder, I guess, what his ambitions are, Burns. What he really wants in life. Some guys I think really want the NFL, and other guys maybe aren't quite as allured to it. So if he's minus 200, that makes me think that he's got a thirst and an appetite to be an NFL coach. Or maybe something is, maybe not as sweet as we might have thought behind the scenes at Notre Dame. But I think it just depends on the person. And that surprises me a little bit because he hasn't been the coach at Notre Dame for a long time at all.
Yeah, it's only been 4 years. So I will say that I've got a conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Ryan Day is a coach until he dies type of coach. Like I think he will retire. And especially if he can rack up a couple national championships, rack up 100 million as coach. So, what is that? 8 years. If Freeman's the 12-year Notre Dame coach, there's no path for him to be the Ohio State coach. And if his life goal is to be the Ohio State football head coach, you got to somehow detach from Notre Dame. And going to the NFL could be a path. Just my conspiracy.
You might be right. But
Yeah, we'll have to clip that for like 5 to 10 years down the road.
Freeman to the Giants would be very interesting as a big NFL fan. Would love to see how that shakes out, especially with Dart at quarterback. But that would really be a tough, really tough blow for Notre Dame. I mean, Freeman's been their best coach.
Well, I know a guy coming from down south that just opened up as a free agent. Bring him back to South Bend.
I'm sure they'll welcome him with open arms.
Oh man. Yeah, that was interesting. Wanted to hear your take. And then speaking of, mentioned him a couple minutes ago. Man, this G5 hate train, obviously, is the Mac Messiah and a pro G5 podcast. This is really pissing me off seeing this steal the show, steal the spotlight from how bad the ACC is. And I'll reiterate from what my point was on Monday was the money grabbing, quick cash, conference heads, conference chairs that oversaturated their conference where there would be very few overlapping schedules, and we'd have these seasons where there's a ton of tie breaks, and they didn't think of an elaborate tiebreaker to make sure the best two teams were playing each other. So I think it's more on them, and they need to take a look in the mirror before you start pointing your finger at kicking the G5 teams out. Very worthy teams.
Yeah, so basically you're suggesting, like, for example, the ACC should have had a better tie-breaking system in play, so Duke wasn't in the championship game?
Yeah, and even the SEC. I mean, people forget there was a 4-way tie. It was Georgia, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and Alabama all had one conference loss.
Gotcha. And
And
obviously,
Alabama was the lowest ranked of those four.
yeah, I was just going to say, very clearly shouldn't have been Alabama. Probably should have been Texas A&M.
Yeah. Yep. So we're going to run into these massive tiebreakers. You talked about you don't see how Tulane. I will say, not getting too deep in the game. I was happy with what their pass defense looked like against North Texas, who's the highest scoring team in the country. Haven't played them yet, but Trinidad threw all over them in the first matchup. So their secondary is their biggest Achilles heel. But man, Retzlaff knows how to win, baby. He's just a gamer.
He is.
And you're telling me a guy like that who just put his name on the map last year at BYU, like, we don't want to see a gamer like that get a shot?
I think Tulane should be in. I liked what I saw from Tulane throughout the year. I mean, they beat Duke, they beat Northwestern, and obviously the Ole Miss game was tough, and the UTSA game was tough, but overall they were a really solid team, like a pretty damn good team. And I'm fine with Tulane being in. JMU, curious to hear your take there, because I didn't really watch enough of JMU this year to know if they should be in or not.
Yeah, listen, this is a G5 team that is going to surprise you. Extremely physical, run the ball type offense, but defense, they pop in every category when it comes to stuff rate, limiting first down yardage, like a really physical team. So that's positive for the position that they're in. If they were a, North Texas, ECU, like running gun teams just don't have, the guys, the size to really keep up against Power 5. That's where it usually gets crooked. But sometimes you just have all the right stars align and you get some guys that stick around that maybe could have transferred out and can really disrupt. So
Yeah,
people are going to say they lost by 2 touchdowns to Louisville. Game was tied in the fourth. Go look at the fucking game. Don't read the box score. Like, that was one of our worst beats of the season, I believe. covered because I think there was a pick six at the end.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, what you just described from a play style standpoint, I mean, that's Oregon. So that I guess that would be a favorable matchup.
Yeah, whether the committee did this or not, I made a couple just get to know you slides that we covered on Monday, and a lot of just like mirroring matchups that I'm very excited to see. Yeah, interception, pick six with. Let's see. Sorry, just corrected with 127 left in the fourth. Spread was 13.5.
Yeah.
They were up 7, so that put it to 14. Yeah. Listen, if you want to limit it to like, what would you say, 20? They have to be top 20. I could say that's fair
I think that's reasonable.
because you are going to get your off season with the G5 where it's going to be like, are we really letting a MAC team in? Like the MAC's the highest rated in like a 3-loss MAC team or something?
See, that's the issue. Exactly. Like if a team in G5 goes undefeated, they're probably going to be ranked in the top 20 at the end of the season.
Yeah. And I think if you just open it up in general, it's like if you're a conference champion and you're not top 20, like an at-large bid could take you over. Like ACC.
Yeah, why not? Why not? You know, like just
Like
because you win your conference, stupid.
yeah, so they should just free up that, like instead of James Madison being in, like that should now just be, there shouldn't be 5 automatic bids if you're not, like it should be 5 automatic bids to the top 20 rated conference champions. It's pretty easy. If your conference champions outside of the top 20, great. We're adding an at-large spot. We're not going to add a second G5 team in or whatever.
Sure.
I think that would work out. But we need to keep one G. Listen, I think most years, and Boise, I thought we'll see how the extended wait goes, but I thought they held their own last year against Penn State.
Yeah, 100% held their own. Penn State was lucky to like win that game, kind of.
There's something in my throat today. Pause. Keep coughing. I've got a little surprise segment for you, Alex.
All right.
A little look back. We made some wild claims this year. Picked out a few things that I thought caught my eye.
Okay.
And we're going to go ahead and take a look at them.
Copy that. USF, I know out of all the schools to call out, but they had pretty high expectations last year, and it all kind of fell apart for them because they had a pretty good season in 2023. And I am just curious if Alex Golish is going to be able to respond and have that team and have those boys ready to go. I kind of lean yes. I kind of feel like last year's disappointment is setting up for this year's comeback. So just initial glance, USF.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's in July.
Love that.
That's in July. Look at that.
Put me on the herd.
Mr. Trash Bag himself. It's just more like Mr. Nostradamus over there.
All right. Building me up just to let me down easy. Not only did they add John Mateer into the mix at quarterback, but their defense is pretty good. So Oklahoma is a program that has high expectations, traditionally high standards. You're putting the line at 6.5. I got to think, especially after a down season last year, that Oklahoma is going to come out with laser focus, laser intention, and get over 6.5 wins. So,
and they're in the playoff. They got 10 wins, folks.
Let's go. I love this.
10 wins. Yeah, hell yeah. So we may know what we're talking about on this show.
Sometimes we have a point.
And the last one that I thought was pretty good.
Why would you want to be on the over 8.5? I mean, if your answer is because it's going to cash, then fair enough. But like, Oh, really? We're gonna buy the stock of a team that just got good last year and also is bringing in a new quarterback. I don't love that.
Yeah, I mean, they were off a new quarterback and new system last year, though, and they followed up with, I mean, them and I can't say this with a straight face to Michigan because they scheduled my boy Mateer without knowing, but they have the softest non-conference schedule: Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State.
Okay. Yeah. That's
So
easy 3-0 for sure.
yeah, exactly. They do have to go to Oregon and Penn State, but they've got like Purdue, Wisconsin, UCLA, Michigan State, Maryland on the schedule. It's like
Spot
all
on.
right, tough one though, tough one.
Why do you say that?
Said I don't see how you can be on over 8.5 for Indiana. Who are
Oh,
current?
I meant you were spot on.
Oh yeah, but yeah. So 2 home runs and 1 whiff out of a
Sure.
whole season. I'd say that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing those Indiana numbers just makes me want to puke preseason.
Yeah.
Truly insane.
Seriously.
35-1 Big Ten champions.
Crazy.
You can get 150-1 to win the national title. Oh wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong team. 40, right? 40-1.
Yeah. They would have showed you the script, man. They would have showed you the script right in front of your eyes. All you had to do was open your eyes, and instead we forgot to put our contacts in. And
That's
that's
great.
what
No,
happened.
200. Yeah, 200-1 was out there to start the season.
Yeah, it's wild.
Holy fuck, dude! Could you imagine holding the Indiana ticket 200-1? They're plus 200.
Right. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people actually saw what we should have saw and put some serious coin on that.
Fuck. God, that fucking Penn State 8-1, minus 300 to make the playoff.
Come on now.
How about Clemson minus 150 to make the playoff, minus 125 to win the ACC?
I mean, yeah, no words. I don't know.
Unbelievable what happened this year, and
Truly.
that's that pushes us up to the perfect segue because bowl season's coming up. I obviously like to bet every single game. Of course, Mr. Thoughtful Alex likes to think through. Last year, Mayor was 9-5, which is great. And then I was 31-19.
Whoa.
And had that memorable third week where I went 14-2, winning 12 games in a row. Never forget that. Oh, so good.
Holy shit.
2023, Alex was 12-13-0, just 1 game below, and I was 25-20-2, 2 pushes. So we have some positivity in bowl season. For this year, there's a lot of talk that bowl season's dying down. I disagree. I think one spoiled kid isn't going to ruin the fun. You got guys like Kenny Dillingham saying that players that are going to transfer out can stick around and practice. Like he wants guys getting reps. Like he's taking full advantage. I think the teams, to the average Joe, there's some teams that were 5-7 that were turning down bowls. It's like you got guys already like going home. Like you got coaching staffs already looking how to improve the next season. Like it's a different time to ask a team that did not expect to get a bowl. And Kansas State, Iowa State. Iowa State was a late hire. Kansas State kind of pissed about that, and they got fined $500,000. So did Iowa State. But other than that, bowl season looks great. Did any matchups jump out to you when you saw the bowl schedule revealed?
Who's in the Music City Bowl again?
The Battle of the Orange, Tennessee, Illinois.
Yeah, that's right. That one kind of stood out to me just because probably some of that and living in Nashville for a long time.
Should be points galore in that game.
Yeah, for sure. I'd have to go look back, honestly. I didn't look at it thoroughly enough.
Well, yeah, if
Yeah.
you want to look at it, I had a few that stuck out to me. I'm really looking forward to starting next week. Battle of the team of destiny, Kennesaw State Owls get the Western Michigan MAC Championship Broncos Myrtle Beach Classic. That's next Tuesday, or no, the 19th, Thursday, next Thursday. How about a little Christmas Eve magic? I love this. Cal Hawaii for the
Yes.
Hawaii Bowl,
It's a
8
great game.
p.m. And it's going to be JKS going back home, the Hawaii guy, Cal's quarterback, who announced he has no intentions to go to the transfer portal. Love that. Freshman phenom, staying at Cal. And then we just talked about him. How about the Pinstripe Bowl, Penn State Clemson? Could have been two bye teams potentially lining up to meet in the national championship. They're playing at Yankee Stadium on the 27th.
That's great.
That's awesome. Iowa Vandy on New Year's Eve. I love that game.
Tell you.
Like Iowa's always a team that has few opt outs, and Vandy Clark Lee expects everyone to play. He already came out and said so. Everyone wants to play, so looking forward to that. And then a little personal sicko one: Pitt and ECU. That game should be into the 80s. That'll be a just shootout galore. I would love to watch that game.
Okay. All right. Michigan, Texas.
Just got a lot more interesting.
Yep. There's one more. Oh, your squad. Toledo, Louisville. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. You know why it's even more interesting?
No.
A little more tea. There's rumors that, obviously since we last spoke, Jason Candle is gone. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Toledo is free of Jason Candle. He's off to UConn, who we broke that news on Act Sports. Broke the news. I felt electric, Mayor, to be a Schefter type. I had a Toledo insider in my DMs. I had an inside source scooping on who's going to be the potential hire, where the defensive coordinator Vince Karras is going. It was sweet. It was cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, the T is that UConn had an opportunity to play Toledo and declined. And so Louisville took their spot.
Okay.
So, man, that would have been interesting, huh?
Yeah, it definitely would have made for a hell of a storyline. Okay. Did you hear about the DeQuan Finn stuff, by the way?
How did I miss this?
Just in terms of like what went down with
Oh,
him?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just a world class, arrogant asshole. Just unliked by his team, his players. Same thing at Baylor. Thinks he's like Michael Jordan, Ken Griffey, and Tom Brady all combined into one. It's like there's arrogance in your quarterback, and then there's some humility that needs to be shared there. And all reports say he did not.
So for the listeners who might not know, I'll tell the story real quick. He after the Ohio game, he was real frustrated and apparently disappeared off like the face of the earth up until, was it the Toledo game the next week, I believe?
Yeah. Yep.
And apparently he showed up like 3 hours before the game, like acting like nothing had happened at all. And the coaches are like, "Where the fuck were you?" And they're like, "No, you're not playing. Like, we haven't been able to get in contact with you all week." And he threw a temper tantrum, got physical with the coaches. Miami of Ohio went on to lose against Toledo. And then after the game, Finn allegedly was taunting the coaches about the loss, his own team losing, and allegedly threatened that he would shoot up the place. So that's what I read today about Finn.
Yeah. Finn is like a French film. He's Finn. Finished. See you, bud. All class by Miami to handle it the way they did, just not airing it out and letting the kid walk. And what else can you say? Some bad apples out there sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, the transfer portal opens January 2nd through the 15th. National championship players, obviously that game's on the 19th. We'll get 5 extra days to decide. And then any coaching changes, there'll be a 5-day window. So say, oh, this happened after signing day. No worries. No worries. So that covers our bowl season. We're looking forward to covering that. Next Wednesday, we'll jump into the ones that are coming up the next week. There's 4 games we'll just briefly talk about today because those will happen all before we record next Wednesday. But we'll really get into the playoff breakdown since that's next Saturday, next week. We're going to wrap up earlier today after we cover the Army-Navy game and 4 bowls. Did want to recap real quick the last game of the old Mac Messiah. Finishes off with a bang. 1-0 MAC championship rocking chair, finishes 30-26. Overall, very impressive this season. Toledo gets a new coach, which, by the way, Mercer head coach Mike Jacobs, former suburb of Toledo guy. So, like, basically what Aurora is to Chicago. This guy grew up in Maumee. He played for Ohio State, long snapper, 80% winning percentage at Mercer, never a losing season. The guy is a unit, just a nice beer belly on him. He looks like someone that's going to build the program to where they need to be and get to another conference. Over under 5.5 wins before I call for him to get fired.
All right. Sounds like a good hire.
What do you think? I was asking you.
What?
Over under 5.5 wins before I call for his job.
Over.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, really positive. We'll be covering all 5 games throughout. Obviously, I'll highlight the MAC games. One of them will be next week, that Kennesaw State game. But yeah, good season. So let's talk about Army-Navy. Why don't we?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Baltimore is going to be the host of the game, just like it was last season, where Navy beat Army last year 31-13. And Army is going for the revenge this year, but Navy is the favorite. Navy is about a 6.5-point favorite in this game. And both squads wearing their special uniforms as they do every year. So that's always something to look forward to. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of it.
Yeah, no, obviously this is our favorite bet, right? The under hits that 88% clip since 2000. An unbelievable. It's 1-1 this year, though. So that's why I'm jumping on it now. It's gotta hit 2 out of 3, right? Because that's still well below its hit rate. Army was able to control the Air Force offense that Navy was not. Now the thing is, Navy will not be able to make a fool out of this Army defense. So, while I think Navy wins the game, I think it is your stereotypical Army-Navy, like some wacky score, like 16-12 or something insane.
Okay.
like 15-9.
What's the total?
39.5.
Okay, so you think it'll go under pretty easily.
Yes. Yes, I do, Alex. I think Blake Horvath, great player. We just have to make sure that those red zone possessions are field goals and not touchdowns. When you get such a low number like this and you're watching, Obviously Navy's going to bring in all these gaudy stats when it comes to running the ball. Number one in a lot of EPA rushing. No shit. Army a little less polished around those edges, but against the run, Army significantly stronger than Navy. Navy could open up a pass a little bit here and there. But yeah, I just like the under. Let's not overthink it. Let's go to the under.
I like that. This game in general, I'm glad we still have it. Especially with what college football is and what it's becoming. And I don't even say that like all negative, but this game still feels like your granddaddy's game from the 1950s or something.
Exactly.
It's pure.
It is fucking pure. I love that. What do you think of now I do propose this in my change of college football. Talked about this, but want to get week 0 Army Navy. Only game, standalone.
It's better than no game at all, but I do like that this game is in December after the conference championship games. It would be an adjustment for sure.
Now, we talked about it a little before. Now that they have a bowl game as well, does that tarnish a little bit? It should be the standalone game.
As long as they're not being played at the same time, I'm cool with it.
Okay.
It's kind of nice to have a nightcap.
Okay. I disagree. But I also, since they joined a conference, that's mainly why I want them to play week 0.
Yeah.
They might be receding back to where they normally go as a service academy. The last couple of years, they've been blessed with like these unbelievable quarterbacks with Daly last year and then Horvath the last 2 years at Navy. So, maybe I'm just a little too optimistic for these teams. Like they'll be annual playoff contenders, but that's probably not the case.
Yeah, I mean the scenario that you propose, it could cause problems if that ever does happen down the road.
Yeah. Yep. So bet the under. We're on under Navy 39.5. All right. For the next couple bowls here, we are going to go to the screen.
Doo-doo-doo.
Look, a little bowl season here.
Presented by Coca-Cola.
Yep. Bowlseason.com. It's nice. How about the Bucked Up LA Bowl hosted by Gronk?
It's a hell of a start.
What is this? Some YouTube wiggle dicker? Like, what is this shit? The Bucked Up LA Bowl hosted by Gronk? Maybe I am on Notre Dame's side. Let's fucking end all the bowls now.
YouTube wiggle dicker.
What the hell is this shit? I'm going to go to their website here. What
Boise State taking on Washington. Oh, no way.
What the hell, Gronk? What is Bucked Up? Do we know?
Not I.
Bucked Up. Oh, it's not letting me click on it. Must be like some beef jerky or something. All of our bucked up listeners just yelling at the TV. Oh, it's a fucking dude. It's a clothing brand. Wait, no, it's pre-workout, creatine supplements, protein sodas, and energy drinks.
Okay.
Bucked Up. You got to be
Hell yeah.
fucking kidding me. That'd be a pretty nice bowl care package, though, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's go back here. All right, but yeah, this is a all things considered, this is a good game. Like two teams, definitely wish they had better seasons, but being able to end with a little bit of momentum, especially Boise getting healthy. You were definitely on the wrong side there, fading the Broncos with a healthy Maddox UNLV is ass cheeks.
Yeah, I'd like to say that wrong pick by me, which was very wrong, is what you just said. UNLV is freaking ass cheeks. Boise State still is not a good team.
Easy, Mendoza, just going flipping flipping ass cheeks over here. Oh man, no, but it's going to be a good game. It doesn't look like, from everything I'm reading, it doesn't look like there's really many opt outs. So Damon Williams, Maddox Madsen, they should play. Maybe that's because this game is so early. They can just kind of get it out of the way and enjoy some weeks off and decide if they want to hit the transfer portal. Especially guys wanting to hit the transfer portal. This is one big showcase before they go. It'll be at SoFi, so be moving a little faster. Washington, strong defense, but I think they might be a proponent of their schedule. But they held their own kind of with Oregon, 26-14 final. Beat up on some of the lesser teams in Big Ten. So, a little skewed because losing to Wisconsin is, especially this season, is inexcusable. 13-10. Wisconsin did have a formidable defense. Let's not beat up on the Badgers too much. But when I look at this, what'd you say the spread was?
It is 9.5
for Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Boise's just a team that just ran into kind of a tough schedule along with some inopportune injuries. And I'd like to see if Sire Gaines is playing. I saw that he might be out for this week due to injury. No, it should be good. But they're starting cornerback. McCoy is out. And yeah, I don't see how you can lay that many points with Washington. I think Boise's still a team that is still here to compete.
Over 52.5.
Ooh. That's an interesting one. That seems like a pretty spot on number, if we're being completely honest. Shit. I do like a fast dome. Pause. No, not pause.
No
Don't mind
pause.
fast. No
Resume.
pause. That was a pump fake pause there. No, I just think first over of the bowl season. No, I think Boise has a good enough defense against the pass to keep it under the number. I could see right near the number, 28-24, but I could also see just 21-17 or 24-17 final. But I like Boise staying within the number, possibly stealing a win here.
I would have to lean your direction there. That's a lot of points for a Washington team that seemingly couldn't get over the hump whenever they had a big test, other than the Illinois game. They beat Illinois.
Yeah, they sure did, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
And then the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. Love this bowl. A little surprised this isn't probably because Air Force is not good this year. They did not qualify for a bowl. So they are not going to put Army Navy in this bowl when they played just 3 days prior. But so we get Troy and Jacksonville State. Actually been to the Crampton Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama, or Toledo
nice.
Appalachian State. This was named something different. It was like it wasn't even Duke's Mayo. It was like the off-brand. It was like Walmart Mayo or something. No, it was I forget what freaking bowl it was, but yeah, I've been there. Interesting city, Montgomery, Alabama. Just about 3 hours south on I-65 to Nashville, Tennessee. But we saw both of these teams just on championship weekend, both the runners-up in their conference, Troy and Jacksonville State. Boy, I don't have much on this one. Troy definitely put up a fight against JMU. That was surprising. 23.5-point dogs. That was a rocking chair. JMU tried to scare you a little bit, but way too little, too late. And then Jacksonville State their quarterback play is just so iffy on what you're going to get. this might be back-to-back unders, Alex.
Yep. I think Troy is going to have some confidence after playing JMU respectably. So I lean Troy to win, but I don't love the money line price of -170.
Yeah, their offense is just so bad. Let me see if yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out because Troy's starting quarterback left, Goose Crowder, awesome name. He's probably done. He was on crutches in that game, but Cam Cook, nation's leading rusher on Jacksonville State, freak. He's incredibly talented. They're going to be relying on him quite a bit unless he opts out. So I like Jacksonville State. Give me my money back from that loss. I'm going to ride with the Gamecocks. What do we say?
All right, right on.
Then the Matt Staffordina, no, Staff DNA, curable, Camping World Stadium, Cure. This fucking guy. In Orlando, Florida. You going to go to this one?
In the middle of a work day? No.
Oh, come on, dude. Just play a little hooky for Old Dominion, South Florida. Actually, not a bad matchup, all things considered.
Spread's 3.5. South Florida's laying it. Over under 53.5.
Yeah, Heartline won't be there, but I'm checking to see if our boy Colton Joseph has opted out because he did announce he will be heading to the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a big get. I see him in dude, I mean, fucking Indiana might eye him up. If they're just going to roll that same thing every time, I have a feeling Spencer Levitt is going to get heavily pursued by Indiana and Miami. Or, yeah. Spencer Levitt? No.
Sam?
Yeah, what the fuck? Spencer. What a goddamn aneurysm. So anyway, not official yet, but him and Byron Brown, both starting quarterbacks, then we're just going crapshoot. That is also the fun. If you're a true gambler, when both starting quarterbacks just opt out and you're just betting second string, that's when we're talking some fun.
Yeah.
And I'd lean towards the dog when we're talking second string. But, Old Dominion held Mendoza to 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And they actually, were frisky that game. First game of the season, whatever. Anyway, and then we all know what South Florida did to start off. Their defense is just so bad. I think this is our first over that we can cut to.
Yeah, you sound pretty confident in that. ODU 9-3 on the year. Same with South Florida. Yeah, ODU, they definitely finished out the year real strong. Wins 27 to 10, 45 to 10, 33-0, 31 to 6. Okay.
Yeah. ODU is not a bad football team, folks. And South Florida just kind of, I'd say, limped towards the finish. After they lost to Navy, I mean, you only get UAB and Rice. They blew them out.
Mm-hmm.
But losing to Navy is like the ultimate limp towards the finish. You go Memphis loss, Navy loss.
Yep.
Can't have that. For starting off beating Boise so badly.
And you fucking beat Miami or Florida.
Yep. Man. Just feels like we were right there at the end of week 2 talking about the USF Bulls. Where did this season go?
They had their opportunity for sure.
Where did this season go? Yeah, I think if anything, we gotta rip it. Even though Colton Joseph is like a lot of ODU's offense, that line is going to change if he does opt out. So if you're betting on him opting out, I'd say take South Florida at the number now, and maybe you can middle and get Old Dominion later. That's a true G bet there.
Yeah, it's really sharp.
Oh fuck. What the hell? Just saying, what the fuck? So my My stats that I'm looking at, he plans to sit out the bowl.
Okay.
How sharp is that? This article is from 5 days ago. Fucking paywall for the Virginia pilot. Come on, guys. What the fuck are we doing, man?
Hey, they're trying to make a living, bro.
Yeah.
Bread on
All right.
bread on the table.
Yep. Over USF. Over USF. All right. And the final game that we're covering, the 68. This is the OU1 Bowl. 68 Ventures Bowl in Hancock Whitney Stadium in Mobile, Alabama. You got the Louisiana Raging Cajuns versus the Delaware Blue Hens. Shout out to the NCAA doing one decent thing this year, allowing Missouri State and Delaware to bypass that unbelievably stupid rule of new teams to FBS have to sit out from postseason play for the first year.
Mm-hmm.
So Delaware and Missouri State are in. It's good for us as football fans. The Ventures Bowl. Did you get that? They owe you one?
Yeah, I totally understood.
68 plus 1.
Yep, they had a chance to do something. Look,
What do you
I actually have my first play of the bowl season officially in this game.
Oh shit.
Give me Delaware.
Could you share the spread and total with us, please?
Yeah. So Louisiana is a 2.5 point favorite, and the over under is 57.5. But I'll tell you right now, Delaware ain't traveling to Mobile, Alabama to get their ass kicked. Delaware is in a spot where they're in a freaking bowl game, guys. This program is in a bowl game. They're going to be on national TV. This game just means more to Delaware. They're going to come in there, laser focus, and they're a great plus money bet. Get them at plus 130 right now.
I like that. Lunch Winfield should be back at quarterback. One of the best names in college football for Louisiana. But I really like where your head's at. The Delaware quarterback, friggin' Minichucci. Dude's a baller. The guy just rips it, and they have shown their ability to score this season. How about 61 against UTEP last time out?
Damn.
61 is just so disrespectful.
Yep.
So they can put it up. They can put some points up, folks. Yeah, and I see ULL similar to La Tech, who Delaware beats. Similar to Jacksonville State, though, and that's a little concerning because Delaware did lose by 13 to that heavier running attack. That's all right, though. That's all right. This is bowl season. Throw all that shit out the window. Let's go Blue Hens.
Let's go Blue Hens.
And that's all we got for bowl season for this week.
Yeah, we talked about a lot. We covered a lot. But obviously we got the playoffs coming up. We have other bowl games to talk about. When we start this shit back in July and we're talking conference previews and this and that, we're about to crown a champion. We're about to crown a champion here in a couple weeks. So we got a lot to look forward to.
Can't wait. I also had to send you the clip where we were talking about Heisman, and we were talking about Drew Aller, how we weren't supporting him, but I have a hilariously cryptic off-collar statement of just, we're not going to bet Drew Aller, but like he'll probably be there. Like there's no way they end up with 6 losses this season. I say 6, not 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I'll have to clip that and send it to you.
Speaking of the Heisman, am I wrong? Am I off base by thinking that had it been Mendoza or even saying that it would have been an underwhelming winner for the Heisman, I think it should be Pavia.
Couldn't agree more. If Ohio State makes that field goal with how average Sayin looked in that game, like in Ohio State wins 16-13. Like you're telling me Julian Sayin is minus 2,500 to win the Heisman?
No, he's not.
Yeah, exactly. Like how did Mendoza just I don't know. They took down odds on Monday. So it's been really tough finding odds. And right after the game Mendoza was 2,500 minus. And then like Sunday was still up and he was down to like minus 1,000. And like once they took it down, like I saw BetMGM tweet out on Tuesday, it was like Diego Pavia's minus 110. I don't know if they meant to do that or not because I went and looked for the line and there was no lines available.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, Alex. We could get surprised because I think some people voted before and
he had a great year. He had a great year. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like it was more so the Indiana team that had a great year, not necessarily Mendoza himself. I mean, he threw a super costly interception against Oregon, if you remember. He threw a bad interception against Penn State. Both of those were close wins by Indiana. I mean, like, and they just were a squad that was really, really good and had kind of a soft schedule. Like, I'm sorry, but I just think Pavia was definitely more of the electric, truly best player in college football type guy who just elevated his team big time. That's how I see it.
2 notes. Mendoza played one more game than Rourke, like in the regular season. He has four more passing touchdowns, less passing yards, one more interception than Curtis Rourke did last year.
Interesting.
You're telling me just because the team won 13 games, the quarterback does? Second point, Diego Pavia represented 71.5% of his team's offense. Mendoza represented 52.2%. Pavia, number one in the entire country, even all those gunslinging G5s like North Texas, like Mestamaker still didn't contribute as much as Diego Pavia did. 4 biggest games he played, Tennessee, Alabama, Texas, and Auburn. He averaged 95 rushing yards a game. I mean, the guy, he is everything you want to remember in a Heisman, and Mendoza is just a guy that will help possibly win his team a national championship, but not win a Heisman. Like, it's not because of him, but he is one of the reasons that the whole team could possibly win.
Yeah, that's how I see it, man. When I look at Pavia, obviously making the comparison to Manziel is a pretty easy one, but I mean, they're just so similar in their play style, and I think it should be Pavia.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
What a great way to end the show on just we're two-turn, as we should say. Two-turn.
I got 2 phones, Kevin Gates.
Come on, Diego. You deserve it, bud.
Yeah.
Hopefully you hear his name called on Saturday. This might be the first one I watch in the last 5-10 years.
For sure. I think I'm frozen, but
I hear you.
Appreciate y'all listening. Love you.
Love you guys. Bye. See you next Monday.